Welcome to the American Heart Association's second virtual Pride event. Here's what's in store. We will get our hearts pumping with a short dance break, play some trivia, and enjoy musical performances from a mariachi band and a platinum-selling jazz artist. We'll hear from an inspirational survivor and our keynote speaker, Dr. Rachel Levine. So let's get this party started. Without further ado, welcome to the American Heart Association's virtual Pride event, live from Dallas, Texas, Chief Executive Officer Nancy Brown.
Thank you so much. I'm Nancy Brown, Chief Executive Officer of the American Heart Association. We are so grateful to you for joining us today for what we know will be a fun-filled and an educational hour as we celebrate Pride. For me, it is a personal honor to help kick off today's program by telling you what the American Heart Association is doing in support of the LGBTQ community. We are committed at all levels of our organization to achieving health equity for all. This includes advocating for accessible, affordable health care, addressing gaps in research, and working within communities to address the social determinants of health in support of longer, healthier lives. We published a scientific statement recently in our flagship journal, Circulation, on assessing and addressing cardiovascular health in LGBTQ adults. It showed that over half of LGBTQ adults and nearly 3/4 of transgender people experience some form of discrimination in healthcare. We have seen in recent months how laws are being passed in various states to strip access to care for trans youth. At the American Heart Association, we strongly believe that all decisions regarding a person's health care should be based in science, which is why we've signed on as a supporter of the Equality Act. Our scientific statement also shows higher instances of tobacco, drug, and alcohol use in the LGBTQ community, all of which adversely affect cardiovascular health. And we are equally concerned about social determinants of health, such as increased rates of homelessness and unemployment in the LGBTQ community, since research shows these can also affect access to health care. In response to this latest research, we're taking action to help, including updating our Get With the Guidelines Healthcare Quality Improvement Program to include sexual orientation and gender identity questions to ensure LGBTQ individuals are seen and cared for properly. The stakes have never been higher, but the American Heart Association is more determined than ever to leverage our voice, our platform, and our resources to identify and remove barriers that prevent all people from living longer, healthier lives. We have a wonderful program in store for you, including our keynote speaker, Dr. Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary for Health at the Department of Health and Human Services. Dr. Levine is the highest ranking transgender official in US history, and she's going to share more about health disparities in the LGBTQ community and how she's using her personal experience to advance health equity for all. Before we start, let me say how proud I am of our Hearts with Pride employee resource group for their outstanding work in bringing today's event to life. We may be together virtually, but we can't wait to celebrate with you in person soon. Pride is also much more than an event, and this past year served as a powerful reminder that Pride is never canceled. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to have so much fun together. And now, welcome from the heart of Palm Springs, California, our friend and MC for today's event, Mother Chukka. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm still here. How are you all doing? Welcome to our Pride. I am Mother Chukka, and I'm your MC. I'm going to be here for the next 50 minutes. And first of all, I just want to thank you all for joining us. We are super excited to have you here with us today. We commit to continue to meet people where they are, and from the comfort of their own homes, and we want to inspire them and support diversity and inclusion. So if you need to use the closed captioning, there's a little CC up there on the top of the screen. I might be pointing it the wrong direction. I don't understand all that stuff on the TV. Anyways, but there should be a CC somewhere if you need that. Anyways, while I'm here at Palm Springs, we have folks joining from all over the world. Let's just see if we can see who is online with us. I see Grace is joining from Brooklyn, and Stephen from San Francisco, and Vincent from Italy. My goodness. Wow. Well, thank you all for coming. That is super duper excited. We wanted to reach all of you because Pride events around the world have been canceled due to COVID again, and we had really fun doing this last year. So we thought that it would be a great idea to do it one more time. And since I was there at the invention of ERGs way back in the 1990s, it's very important and special to me to be able to join this group and the AHA for ERG. So let's do a quick pulse. On a scale of 1 to 10, how is everyone feeling? Throw that in the chat, with 1 being not so great and 10 being fabulous. I don't know if you follow me on social media or anything, but every other Wednesday, I do a dance break at noon. It's super exciting. We jump up for 10 minutes. I started during COVID because I wanted to get people moving, because jumping around and getting your heart pumping is really important, and it's great for your health. Like I always say, without the heart, everything else doesn't even work. So without further ado, let's get some music pumping. And we are gonna do a little dance break. I'm gonna grab the computer really quick because I like to do my dance break outside. So let's go, people, dance around, yay! Yes, I love that. I hope the heart is pumping and you guys are all pumped up. Let us get to, sorry, the next thing. Oh, hang on 1 second. Sorry. Having a little technical difficulty. Anyways, that was great. I'm supposed to say I need a cocktail now, but that's not a very good idea if you're trying to get your heart going, so I'm not going to say that. Anyways, staying active is key to prevention. It can add more healthy years to your life, and exercise is a natural mood alter. That's why I'm so perky. Let me tell you. I was up at 5 this morning walking 3 miles, so keep it up, kids. Just to talk a little bit about what this is all about, Pride, of course, began as a revolution, and it started on both the East and West Coast with Stonewall and the Compton riots. And, you know, the gay community continued to thrive and became very active during the AIDS crisis in the 1980s and 90s. And, you know, now the American Heart Association is looking at how the LGBTQ plus community interacts with the medical community. And the American Heart Association, Hearts with Pride, is just one employee resource group that works together with others to support each other. We love them. Let's hear from them. Can we roll that video?
Happy
Pride
from Heartmasters,
ERG, From all of us at Parents at Heart.
Happy Pride.
Hi, this is Kenza Martin, president of Heart and Soul, and I'm wishing everyone in Hearts with Pride a very, very happy Pride Month. I hope that it's full of fun, it's full of education, it's full of happiness, and most importantly, it's full of pride. Take care of yourself and enjoy the month.
Hi everyone, I'm Raj from the American Heart Association's H3 Club, and on behalf of the H3 Club, we would like to wish you
Happy
Pride Month. Happy
Pride Month from Lions at Heart. Yay!
Hi everyone, we're the Bravehearts ERG.
and we support all survivors, caregivers, and allies who have been impacted by heart and brain disease.
We are all more different than we are alike, and that is what fuels us.
As we strive to be an inclusive and equitable community, a safe place for support, understanding, vulnerability, and bravery.
Bravehearts are proud to be allies to the Hearts with Pride ERG.
Happy Pride Month!
Oh my goodness, I am so thrilled to see all that love and excitement. I don't know if you guys are aware, but when the ERG started way back when, about 30 years ago, a lot of the energy was around domestic partner benefits and making sure that your partners got health insurance or were able to get health insurance, from you, just like all the other people who are working out there in the world. So again, just tying that in to the heart stuff, it's very, very important what you guys are doing. The ERGs continue to do great work, and you guys around the country are doing amazing things. So let's get on to our next guest. Sorry about that, I was rambling. Our next guests come from right up the street from me. They're over in LA, down the road. And they bring Mexican music and folklore to the LGBT community of Los Angeles. They were created so that there would be a safe place in which they could play regional Mexican music. This fabulous group is led by director Carlos Samaniego and is proud to count among its members the first transgender woman in mariachi history. We are thrilled to welcome to our group, the Mariachi Araqua of Los Angeles. Can we roll that?
Serenata bajo la luz de la luna. Como te quiero, mi amor, como te quiero, mi amor. No te he querido ninguno. En esa noche tan grata que con tu aroma perfuma. Vengo a cantarte, mi amor, vengo a cantarte, mi amor, lo que escribí en la laguna. Estoy tan orgulloso que estés tú conmigo. Doy gracias al cielo, mil gracias, Dios mío, por haberme dado tan lindo querer. Ojalá que nunca alguien nos separe, que tú nos ampares de aquel y de aquello y de todo el que quiera lo nuestro romper. Échale bonito, Natalia. Placer conocerte y tenerte unos meses, aunque esos meses fueron el principio y el fin de un amor tan bonito. Aunque no me quisiste, pero yo sí te quise y hoy me tengo que ir. Muy feliz fui contigo, me conformé con nada y hoy te quedas sin mí. A pesar de que nunca me dijiste te quiero, hoy que tengo que irme, me demuestras tu amor. Pero tengo que irme porque ya no te quiero, no sé por qué motivo, cosas del yo sé muy bien que no me quieres, más sin embargo yo te amo. Con que te quiera y tú me dejes que yo te quiera, no me interesa si tú me quieres sí o no. Claro que siento un poquitito de sentimiento, pero no lloro, no tiene caso. Nada me gano con que me mires que estoy llorando. Si no me quieres, yo con quererte soy muy feliz. Mis amigos me aconsejan que ya te deje, que no sea tonto y que no me quieres. Y yo les digo que no necesito que me lo digan, con que te quiera yo el mundo ruede.
¡Oiga, Silvio! ¡Mi mariachi arcoíris de Los Ángeles! ¡Ay! Me nace del corazón decirles que usted es mi vida, que no sé vivir sin usted. Disculpe que se lo diga, pero es que no aguanto más. Este amor me calcina, me nace del corazón y el corazón me domina. Quiero sentir esos besos, sus manos que me acaricien. Quiero comprobar que digo, no quiero morir de amor, hasta que escuche su boca decir que me quiere mucho y que este amor que usted siente me nace del corazón, me nace del corazón. Decirle que usted es mi vida, que no sé vivir sin usted, que no sé vivir sin usted. Disculpe que se lo diga, pero es que no aguanto más. Este amor me calcina, me nace del corazón y el corazón me domina. De usted me he enamorado, quiero decirle mil cosas que no hace poquito tiempo sintiendo yo estoy por usted. Quiero beber de sus labios el agua de amor divina, tomarlo de beso en beso, me estoy muriendo de sed. Me nace del corazón, del corazón.
Oh my God, how fabulous were they? Mariachi, arco iris, just fantastic. I love them. Now, I want to introduce you to an extraordinary survivor. Lindsay Huey, Lindsay, I'm sorry, I did not ask you how to how to say your last name, so if I mess this up, I apologize. Lindsay Huey was the last person anyone would expect to have a heart attack. A competitive athlete since childhood, she is a former member of the United States women's national soccer team and a four-time NSCAA All-American. She's been living healthfully her whole life, eating nutritious foods and getting plenty of physical exercise. One of Go Red for Women's Real Women of 2021. Here is Lindsay and her incredible story.
My name is Lindsay Huey. I am a mom of 4 girls, former semi-pro athlete, soccer coach, an animal rescuer. So for the last couple of years, I've been soccer coaching, soccer directing. Then that mom part of you starts coming out and it's like, oh, maybe I'll coach my kid. No, I'm going to take it to the next level. I want to show them like you can do anything. So after 15 years in retirement, I decided to come back out of retirement and play for the LA Galaxy OC last year. But I've had an amazing, athletic career. And then that has really helped to make the professional career just kind of come together. I'm a 5-time Hall of Famer, a 2-time national champion. And so my diagnosis is actually called a SCAD, a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, and happens a lot to young, fit females. So I had no idea what that was, obviously, until it happened. Life before SCAD was, I think, what most American moms' lives are like. Busy. I'm rushing kids to and from practice, taking animals to and from the vet. Like, I felt like I had a pretty typical busy life, juggling a ton of, family priorities on top of career. The day was interesting because I generally run from one practice to another. It's always a rush, so that's not like unusual. I grabbed all my stuff and I kept thinking like, whew, it's like I'm having a little bit of trouble breathing, but could be the wind, could be allergies, could be any number of things. For whatever reason, I'm just feeling like I shouldn't be this tired because I make this trip 2 times a week, every week. So I'm thinking, I wonder if I ate something weird. Like, it had to have been food. And now I'm starting to sweat, and I'm not a sweater. So I'm getting a little alarmed at this point, but I'm still convincing myself that it's related to something that I may have eaten. So at that point, I'm in so much pain and it feels like an elephant sitting on my chest that I just immediately sit down because I'm thinking maybe if I get lower to the ground somehow, it's gonna like make me feel better. Because I have such a high tolerance for pain, I knew something was wrong right when it started feeling like the only thing left I could do was start crying, So after that, there was a nurse running the facility and she happened to be a part of our organization, and she came over and, she started doing her diagnosis. And I remember her saying, do you need me to call an ambulance? And I just kept thinking, like, I have my 2 older kids with me and they would be mortified if an ambulance showed up and took me away and they were there. So I'm like, no, it's okay. Maybe if I just get down to somebody's car, you guys can drive me to the urgent care. And I really was convinced that it was still something that I had eaten. So when I got to urgent care and they hooked me up to the EKG, I was expecting them to come back and say like, everything's okay, like just take it easy, maybe a little bit of antacid, something like that. But that wasn't the outcome. When I waited for the EKG, they had said that it came back abnormal and I needed to go immediately to the emergency room. After everything that I experienced with the heart attack and how it attributed to my mental health was definitely humbling. Definitely, it was humbling. I went from doing everything on my own 24/7 to not being able to engage, physically with the kids or, physically around the house. Mentally and emotionally, it was definitely a challenge. It continues to be a challenge even still, because as I said, I'm used to doing everything all at one time. Now I'm required to pace myself. And every time I don't listen to my body, I pay for it every single time. And at the end of the day, you're a better mom when you're a healthier mom, when you're physically present. That's really what I've come to learn and understand about this whole process, is it's okay. It's okay to not be everything for everyone all of the time.
Wow, what an amazing story. I identify with that so much. So having also gone through it, kudos to Lindsay. I mean, that is just incredible. So coming from her home, joining us from her home, here's Lindsay. Welcome, Lindsay Huey.
Hi, thank you so much. It's so emotional for me to watch the video and think about how scary it was that, I almost didn't get the help that I needed, and, it could have ended so poorly for me. So really, really emotional. But in the LGBTQ plus community, we must recognize our power to make a change. And that includes each one of us prioritizing our own health. The next important step is to empower others, which I've chosen to do through being a American Heart Association ambassador and also being part of the Go for Red Women Real campaign. And our help has never been so critically needed. There are so many cures and interventions waiting to be discovered. So many precious lives are at risk. The unknown, the fear, the questions that have silenced our community while heart disease gets the last word, but not today. I'm speaking out, asking for more support. We can all save the lives of those we love. Today, I invite you to fund life-saving research and education that saves and extends lives. I invite you to make a generous gift to the American Heart Association.
Thank you, Lindsay. I think there's supposed to be some sound coming from above, but maybe not. Anyways, Lindsay wore jersey number 17 when she played for Portland, and in her honor, we are asking you to make a $17 donation. See how that works? On the screen now and throughout the event, you'll see these thermometers. Can we show the thermometer? Where we'll get updates on our progress and our goals. We seem to be having a duel between those of you on YouTube and those of you on Twitch. And it's anyone's game. So I'm going to read you the instructions on how to make a contribution. You can give by clicking the blue donate button on YouTube. Or if you are tuning in on Twitch, type donate, ! Donate in the chat, or check out the panels to donate to the American Heart Association on Tiltify. Or you can text AHA Pride to 41-4444. So many choices on ways to give money. My God, I'm confused. So let me just run that through one more time. If you want to, yes, I'm so glad that thermometer's up there. We are at 2720. So you need to see that go up. Come on, there's all these different options. On YouTube, if you are on YouTube, you can use the blue donate button. If you're on Twitch, you have to type ! DONATE, ! Donate in the chat, or you can check out the panels to donate to the American Heart Association on Tiltify. If you want to just text us, you can text AHA Pride to 414444, and you'll be able to donate through that. It looks like we already have a few gifts to kick things off. Hang on, they're going to send me these. Richard Garrett, thank you so much for your donation. Edward Scott Murphy, thank you. Brooke Yeager McSwain, thank you very much. Stephanie Keith donated $100. My goodness, that is amazing. Thank you. Frederick Callitz also donated $100. We're at a great start. Now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. Here's Kathy. Now I'm not introducing them, Kathy is. Here's Kathy Young, the president of the ERG.
Hi, everyone. Happy Pride. I'm Kathy Young, and I'm honored to be the president of the Hearts with Pride Employee Resource Group here at the American Heart Association. One of the goals of Hearts with Pride is to make sure that LGBTQ individuals, both within our organization and in the community, are seen, heard, and valued. Having a seat at the table is so important for our community as we continue our movement towards equality. That's why I'm delighted to be here to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Rachel Levine. She recently broke through the rainbow ceiling, becoming the first openly transgender person to be confirmed by the US Senate. She's now the Assistant Secretary for Health for the Department of Health and Human Services. Having this seat at the table allows her to fight every day to improve the health and well-being of all Americans. Think of all the areas that Health and Human Services touches: HIV/AIDS prevention, mental health, insurance, smoking prevention, and of course, resources to improve your overall heart health. I'm so grateful to know that this is now being looked at through the lens of an LGBTQ individual to help our community get the resources we need in the way we need them. Dr. Levine's career began in academic medicine before becoming a practicing physician. This led to her becoming Pennsylvania's Physician General, while finally serving as Pennsylvania's Secretary of Health. Throughout her career, she has focused on the intersection between mental and physical health, often treating adolescents, young adults. Please welcome Dr. Rachel Levine.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your event about the state of LGBTQ+ health. It's wonderful that the American Heart Association hosts sessions like these. The more that we take time to understand the people around us, the more compassion we can have for each other. And I have to say, the future is looking brighter than ever this Pride Month as we work to advocate and advance policies to ensure health equity for all, including the LGBTQ+ community. I am humbled to be the first openly transgender individual to serve in a Senate-confirmed position, the first transgender Assistant Secretary for Health. As Vice President Harris has said, I recognize that I may be the first, but I am heartened by the knowledge that I will not be the last. Research shows that 1/4 of LGBTQ+ people who faced discrimination postponed or avoided needed medical care for fear of further discrimination. People have the right to access health care and receive equal treatment under the law, and it's the mission of the United States Department of Health and Human Services to enhance the health and well-being of all Americans, no matter their sexual orientation or gender identity. All people need access to health care services to fix a broken bone, protect their heart health, and screen for cancer risk. No one should be discriminated against when seeking medical services because of who they are, especially as it can have negative long-term consequences on their health. That's why I am so excited about the meaningful policy changes that we're working on. We recently announced the prohibition on sex discrimination that includes discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in covered health programs or activities. The federal government must continue to lead by example and showcase the importance of full federal LGBTQ+ equality. We're addressing health equity for all on the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force, which includes ensuring medical research encompasses all minority groups and educating the medical workforce about those differences. One size does not fit all. We need to tailor treatments to fit the needs of an individual. We need to continue to strongly advocate for the most vulnerable in our community. That includes increasing access to care, especially in rural communities, reducing tobacco use, and finding new methods to address the opioid crisis, ensuring people get enough physical activity, and especially ensuring that trans youth are able to participate in sports. We also need to ensure that we address mental health as well as physical health. Before I close, I would like to take a moment to ask you to get the COVID-19 vaccine and help those around you get vaccinated as well. It is vital to helping us return to normal. I know that the LGBTQ+ community is sometimes reluctant to go for medical care for fear of discrimination, but we need as many people as possible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. We can do this together and build a better, more inclusive future. Now, I would be happy to take a few of your questions.
Hi, Dr. Levine. I have a transgender sister that I love very much. And I know that safety and understanding are important in healthcare in general, but especially for our LGBT community. What are some resources to help the LGBTQ as they navigate their healthcare needs?
Thanks for that question, Daniel. The Affordable Care Act has enrollment assistance for LGBTQ+ communities. A quick Google search will bring it up. The CDC also has a great resource page which has LGBTQ+ hotlines, referral services, and LGBTQ+ health clinics by state and city. Go to cdc.gov/LGBT health and check out the resource page.
Mental health is such a struggle for youth. Adding stigma and fear just amplifies that. As a parent and family member of many LGBTQ people, what advice do you have on how I can best support a young person who is finding their path while dealing with fear and anxiety?
Well, Rachel, just by asking that question, you are already helping. Creating a safe, supportive environment is vital to helping someone figure out their path. I encourage you to educate yourself about the different paths they might decide to take, so you can engage in an open dialogue with them. Be the person's advocate. Help them find a safe space, whether it's a supportive school, an LGBTQ community group, or a counselor, to give them someone outside of their family to speak to. Encourage them to stand up for themselves and set boundaries. But most of all, assure them that they have your unconditional love and support, no matter what path they choose. LGBTQ youth are especially vulnerable. They have a high risk of being bullied, of being harassed in schools or in their community. And I think that they all need our support. Let them know that our more perfect union includes them too.
During a time like 2021 that the Human Rights Campaign quoted was on track to become the worst year for anti-LGBTQ legislation in recent history, and consistently seeing individuals' gender identity be weaponized politically, where and how do you find joy and solace in the political sphere?
That's a good topic to raise, Emma. The path to equality is never linear. The future is looking brighter than ever this Pride Month as we work to advocate and advance policies to ensure health equity for all, including the LGBTQ community. Unfortunately, when advancements are made, it often causes those who fear the unknown to lash out. And I think we are seeing some of those ramifications. Fortunately, we have a president who supports us. In his first joint address to Congress, President Biden sent an unequivocal message to the transgender community, quote, "To all transgender Americans watching at home, especially the young people, you're so brave. I want you to know your president has your back," unquote. Well, I want you to know that I have your back too. I am also fortunate enough to be in a position to make a difference and help support the LGBTQ community. Just last month, we rolled out a prohibition on sex discrimination that includes discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in covered health programs or activities. We will continue to lead at the federal level. We have not made progress unless we have all made progress. We need to continue to strongly advocate for the most vulnerable in our community.
Hi, Dr. Levine. Who are some of your idols, and how do you mirror their success and platform in the work that you do?
You know, Richard, I get asked that a lot, and it's a hard one. In terms of transgender individuals, I stand on the shoulders of those who came before me, people we know throughout history, and those whose names we may never know because they were forced to live and work in the shadows. Those people who were and are currently forced to live and work in the shadows inspire me to keep going every day. Each day I am inspired by the extremely dedicated and hardworking public health professionals that I have the opportunity to work with at the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health. You know, this past year has required long days and hard work by all public health professionals at every level, and their dedication to making the world a healthier place is absolutely inspiring. You know, if I was going to name one person, actually I would name President Biden. His work to me has been so inspiring in our battle against COVID-19 and in really progressing throughout our country. So that's who I would choose. That's who inspires me every day.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Levine. Your words were inspirational. That was amazing. Hey, can we take a look at the thermometer and see if how we are doing with our, oh my goodness, it's gone up over $1,000. I love that. Yay, we are at 3805. Do we want to remind folks what they need to do to make a donation? If you're on YouTube, you can click that little blue donate button. And if you are on Twitch, if you do /donate in the comments, and then there is one other way. Sorry, like rolling through my scripts. Anyways, ignore me. Donate, donate, donate. We need all your help. Now we're going to jump into virtual trivia. I am nothing if not trivial. Super excited to share this with you. I think you can answer the question in the comments, I believe, or the chat. Sorry. So let's get rolling with this. Billy Porter made history becoming the first gay Black man to win an Emmy. What show did he win his Emmy for? And you can put it in the chat. We'll give everyone a second or two. I found my little blurb while you're writing that down. In the chat, or check out the panels to donate to the American Heart Association on Tiltify. And you can also text AHA Pride at 41444 to make a donation. So don't forget those. I'd love to see that number go up. So can we look at, hang on, I have to open the chat. I have so many, I have like a whole giant like thing here. Pose, yes, Pose is the show that Billy won the Emmy for. Okay, I, as a survivor of a heart failure, have experienced discrimination in the workplace. So our next question is about that. What percentage of LGBT adults report discrimination from their primary care provider? I have personally experienced this. I'm one of these. You can throw your number in the chat, or I mean, you can raise your hand in the chat and throw in what number you think it is. Yeah, higher. So it's 56%. 56% of LGBT adults have experienced discrimination from their primary care physician. I mean, as an older American, of course, you know, way back in the 70s, it started happening to me, but it still happens today. I mean, you know, with the doctor I had even just a few years ago, there was definitely some communication issues. So don't be afraid to talk to people about that, and don't be afraid to talk to your doctor about if you feel like there's an issue there. Our next question. Discrimination discourages LGBTQ folk from seeking care, and LGBTQ people may have trouble finding alternative services if they are turned away. Oh, sorry, that wasn't a question. Ignore me. When did demonstrations for gay rights begin in the United States? What year? That we know of. I'm going to say that we know of, because I bet you there was some fighting before that. No, a little before 1968. Yeah, 1965. That's it. Yes, 1965. The first picketing for gay rights took place on July 4th, 1965, in front of Independence Hall in Philadelphia and in Washington, D.C. Kind of amazing. I was just a little tick then. Here's a question for you all. Are there any smokers out there? I was a smoker. I smoked for 19 years. In fact, when I was a little kid, my mom smoked when she was pregnant, because it was before they actually knew that was bad for you. And when we were little kids, we would be in the car and they would be smoking in the car. So it was crazy. Lots of LGBTQ people smoke. You've seen them in bars. When the bars stopped smoking, they all went out to the sidewalk. They're all still there. They're all still smoking. We need to get them to stop. LGBTQ adult smokes at a rate of up to how many times more than straight adults? That is our trivia question. And it is a lot. Put it in the chat. Definitely more than 2 times. Definitely more than 2 times. Oh, not 4. 4 is too much. So it turns out it's 2.5 times more. Cigarette smoking among LGBTQ individuals in the US is higher than among heterosexual straight individuals. About 1 in 5 LGBTQ folks smoke cigarettes, compared with about 1 in 6 heterosexual straight adults. You know, if you're smoking still, quit. That's all I can say. It'll be the best thing you can ever do for yourself and your health. And when you're laying there after your heart attack like me, you won't have these silly thoughts about how you should have never ever smoked. Just quit. Next up, we have a question. Another trivia question. One of my favorite movies, the San Francisco native starred in this, La Caja Fall, was remade into what American movie? La Caja Fall. What American movie got made out of that? Put your answers in the chat. I wonder if anybody knows. Should I give you a hint? Robin Williams. Yes, The Birdcage. The Birdcage is a remake of La Caja Fall. The 1978 classic La Caja Fall was directed by Eduardo Molinaro. And then it was made into an American movie with one of my favorite actors and someone I actually met in San Francisco, Robin Williams. Oh, my goodness. Well, that was fun and educational, but I'm way running over on time. Go figure. Chatty drag queen. Is there an update on the thermometer? We haven't gotten any more contributions since I started talking. Maybe I should shut up. Anyways, no Pride Festival would be complete without a cabaret. From the early days of the Weimar Republic in Berlin to the heyday of the piano bars in New York City in the 1980s, cabaret has always been a welcoming presence in the gay community. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Martuni's in San Francisco, but they have a fabulous cabaret bar. There's one in every city. Our next guest is a platinum award-winning songwriter and one of the leading champions of the Great American Songbook, one of my personal favorite songbooks. She made her mark as a singer, a pianist, composer, lyricist, arranger, actress, educator, TV host, and producer. God, she's got more titles than me. She is best known for her Tony-nominated performance in the hit Broadway musical Swing, and for writing the theme song to one of my all-time favorite shows, The Nanny. Please welcome to the screen, Anne Hampton Calloway.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anne Hampton Calloway, and let's hear it for our MC, Mother Chucka. Yeah. Well, it's great to be here. Happy Pride, everyone, and it's wonderful to be supporting this important cause. Thank you to the Heart Association Pride group, who is raising money for such a cherished cause of mine. I've lost beloved members to heart issues, and it's something I really hope we can raise more money and more awareness for, and so it means a lot to me to be here. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite George and Ira Gershwins to wish you all a very lucky Pride. Oh, sweet and lovely lady, be good. Oh, lady, be good to me. Well, I am so awfully misunderstood. So, lady, be good to me.
'cause I am just a lonesome baby in the wood. So lady, be good to me. Can't you see? I'm praying to Lady Luck, 'cause lately I've been thunderstruck. Oh, lady, be good to me. I'm a knocking on wood. I am counting to 3. I say a 1, 2, 3. Can't you hear my plea? Oh, baby, be good to me. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I hope you were scat singing along with me. That's a song I recorded on my CD To Ella with Love to celebrate the First Lady of Song, the incomparable Ella Fitzgerald. I've been very fortunate as a songwriter to be associated with great divas, and probably the biggest diva of all is our icon, the great Barbra Streisand, who, by the way, is one of the biggest champions for health, for the heart, of any celebrity in our world. So it gives me great pleasure to sing a song I was inspired to write many years ago. And Barbara recorded it and sold 6 million records and brought this message to the world. It seems more timely than ever. And the image of the heart beating is something that when I was a child, I went up to my father, who was a famous journalist in Chicago, John Calloway, and I was searching for something that would help us feel more connected to each other as a world. And I remember thinking, my goodness, our hearts are beating at the same time. That's one thing we definitely have in common. And so it seemed appropriate tonight to sing this for all of you, wishing you health and happiness and all the best in all you dream of. Here it is, At the Same Time, with much love. Think of all the hearts beating in the world at the same time. Think of all the faces telling stories of our lives at the same time.
Thank you so much, and God bless.
OMG, how fabulous was that? Thank you so much, Ann Hampton Calloway. That was amazing. Much better than hearing me sing, right? They pay me not to sing. Can we grab a look at the thermometer again? Oh, it's on this side. See? Oh, there you go. I'm learning. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. We are so close to 4K, people. Come on, make some contributions. It all goes to amazing things. I would not be here right now if it was not for the research that came out of the American Heart Association. So if you're having a good time, just throw them some coin. So as we wind down, if you want to be part of these continued efforts, we appreciate your support of the American Heart Association. More support is needed than ever. Don't forget, if you enjoy this program, please donate. Your funding will support equal representation at the American Heart Association, which is named number 5 in the country for diversity. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you had fun. I had a great time. Thanks to the American Heart Association for having me and for putting on this amazing event, and YouTube and Twitch for hosting us so graciously. Such a great job. Thank you to Kathy for joining me. And I'd love to see that number going up. How do I do it? Right there. And have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Mwah. We love you. Thanks for joining us.